Mount, Buffalo, Mangibi, home, and everywhere you go. This is ABC Radio 105.1 FM.
Up with the rates, up with the rates,
All right. Welcome to a fresh edition for a brand new week. This is your number one road safety program, Traffic Talk. A regular feature always on the Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation. A program scheduled for weekdays, Mondays to Fridays. From 6:15 to 6:45, we enlighten our drivers, as in all of our motorists, so to speak, about the norms and malpractices within the traffic within our nation. And so today is just another edition right here, the first of its kind for this week. And so I'd like to say welcome to all of our motorists. That includes our drivers, our tricycle riders, our pimp guys, and most especially our road end users that has to do with our folks that cross from one point to another. Those ones even walking on the sidewalks. Those street vendors trying to sell within the traffic. Those visually impaired guys. Those disabled citizens and vulnerable citizens as well. We talk about their safety here on the program. And today is Monday, the 10th of April, 2023. I'm your regular host and presenter, Martin Fagans, that number one driver, that number one keke rider, that pimpin' rider. I represent you. And so for the next 45 minutes, take and stay with me as we bring you things that we will be talking about. Top on our agenda today, the street markings. I took a little survey today going around, and I noticed some things we will be talking about. But first, we'll bring you our safety quotation for the day, and our safety tapes being provided through the kind courtesy of the LMP Public Safety Traffic Department. And then we talk about the importance of markings. What is the city government doing about it? And what is the Public Safety Department doing in line with public works? Because you find folks just crossing at points if you are to choose. Where are the crosswalk signs? Even the lane separated lines are also leaving the cottage right now, and there's a need for all these things. These are all part of the nation rebuilding and branding process as well. And so let's just bring you our traffic safety quotation right here on this evening on the program Traffic Talk. Matter of fact, we always bring you two safety quotations, and this one here says, if you make a mistake of looking back too much, you aren't focused enough on the road in front of you. Because a driver main focus print is the destination ahead where he or she is headed. So looking too much in the back will cause you some problem, lead you to accident or some other situation that is not right for the traffic. So if you're a rider or a driver, all you have to do is just keep looking ahead. If you want to look back, just skim your rear view mirror or your side view mirror. Just for this bit, a split second, just to skim and see what's in the back. But your main focus is at the destination ahead. And the next one says, look at life through the windscreen, through the windshield, and not the rear view mirror. Because you are going ahead. So your main focus should be looking ahead. You only skim the rear view mirror to see what's behind you or what's on the side of you, in case you are driving on the 2-lane road or 4-lane road and want to switch lane, or perhaps want to use the parking lane. But you just cannot always be in the habit of looking in the rear view mirror. Because look ahead. You always got to look at life, because those things ahead of you matters. Because the impact that you will have hitting another vehicle from the back when you're headed in the direction he or she is headed will be of more great impact than when somebody, So always keep looking ahead and skim the rear view mirror to see what's behind you. So that's our safety tip for the day. Our safety quotation, that is. And our first safety tip is say it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's not the destination. What the guys have not trying to say is that it's not how fast you get to your destination, but how slow you make that journey count. And our safety tips here from the LMP says always slow down when approaching an intersection. The reason being, cars are crossing from one point to another. Pedestrians are also making that use of that intersection as well, trying to cross from one point to another. And we'll talk about pedestrians, most especially this one's vulnerable, talking about kids coming from school. The old, what we call the senior citizens, those ones who are unable to just walk as fast as we can as young people. So a driver or rider must use his discretionary powers, even if you just don't see a street light. But when there is an intersection, slow down. There are three things can be happening at that intersection. A car may be turning from one point to another, or folks might be crossing. So always use that power to slow down at every intersection. Do not turn abruptly in traffic. This one applies to our taxi drivers there at the EOW junction area. Just wanting the fast passing on the quick notice, they always do that turn abruptly within traffic. In downtown, these practices are always done by our KK guys. Look, if the passenger calls your attention, and there are many people, if that person really want to ride with you, they will ride with you and they will wait for you. At times you do that abrupt turn in traffic because it's some serious problem for the traffic. Most especially at times it leads to accidents. That wouldn't be good for you. Always observe the crosswalk while driving. I'm talking about the pedestrian crosswalk. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. It's so good it came from the Liberia National Police. And we'll be talking about the markings. Most of them have been erased from the streets. So it puts our pedestrians in a predicament in terms of crossing. Always drive in sneakers, shoes, not in slippers. Always ride in sneakers or shoes or footwear, but not with slippers. Reason being, driving with slippers is not really good. Some individuals sweat from their feet, and then at times you are on the gas pedal, accelerating, and your foot slide. That car will over accelerate. And if you're riding a bike, sometimes you try to apply brakes, your foot must slide off within the slippers. So it's prohibited to use slippers while driving or riding. It's always necessary to use a proper footwear, that is a sneakers or shoes. Do not use the opposite lane, as we call the third lane. And in most cases, our officials always do these things within the traffic, and it is wrong. One person I applaud when it comes to always being patient within the traffic is the chief of staff, the defense minister. These guys are always, and the AFL, except they are in some sort of emergency, and that's when you will know it's an emergency for the AFL. But most cases at times you see this the chief of staff or the defense minister within the traffic, driving slowly, waiting for the appropriate time to leave. So we all can do the same because they are first-class citizens. The only person I believe have the powers to do so is the police, in case they are in emergency situations. The triple Sierra driving the president at home, that is the EPS, or that of the VP or other high officials within government. But often at times you see every town, dick, and Harry trying to use the third lane, most especially our taxi drivers, just one rushing to make the fast reporting money. And it's wrong, so says the Liberia National Police Traffic Department. Once you are caught, you will be charged and face the full penalty of the traffic law. Okay, those are our traffic safety tips and our traffic safety quotations. And we very shortly will be opening up the phone lines for you. But we'll take a breather, take a song here by Davido. And then we come back and open up the phone lines talking about the street markings. What is the public safety department doing? These things are important as much as you claim to protect the safety of the public. These things must be put in place. There must be street signs erected. The yellow lines are fading away. The lanes separated that separates two lanes are fading away. And then how do you judge a case of an accident between a motorist if at all you cannot see a lane separator? So there's a need for public works, the public safety department, traffic department, and the city government to working hard on getting these things sorted out, because they are all part of saving the life of the population as well. Stay tuned. I'll be back.
Up with the weights, up with the weights. I won't.
And so we take something here by OBO from his most recent efforts, and it's called One for the Road. It's called For the Road. And this is Davido right here on Traffic Talk. So let's now welcome OBO, Davido, from his current efforts, Timeless. We'll take the break and we'll come back. The phone lines will be open. And the number is 0777-105-100. We're talking about the street markings, the crosswalks, and all of that. I'll be back. Martin Fagans, Traffic Talk. Stay tuned. And I'm telling you, a nice Davido, we from his current efforts, Timeless. I'd like to say welcome back. The time exactly is, and the time exactly is 29 minutes down, 6 o'clock, and we're here to 6:45. Just before that, taking the commercials and switching from one power source to another. And 7 o'clock is 45 minutes of news from our news and current affairs department. But the program you're in tune to right now on air and online is the Traffic Talk program, a regular feature that comes on every weekdays from Mondays to Fridays from 6:15 to 6:45 on ABC Radio 105.1. And so now we're talking about these street markings. If you can agree with me, every major intersection everywhere downtown, like major crossing point. Let's just start with the Capitol Bypass, Johnson Street, Even all the major crossing points in downtown Monrovia, there's a need to have a crosswalk and street markings being painted on the streets. These things help to create a line of demarcation between two lanes and also pinpoint area that pedestrians can cross. I know our African Liberian society that we all cross wherever we want to cross, but at least do your job, put these things in place, let the people know that they are there. Some folks come from abroad. Let's not just limit ourselves to only our citizenry, right? There are other people coming from overseas, right next where Africa, that are used to these things. Take, for example, in Guinea, they have this overhead bridges crosswalk for people to protect the citizenry. We don't have to do these things, yeah? But we can create the street markings at every intersection for people to know that, to be knowledgeable that at these points you are safe to cross, and drivers should be conscientized enough of the fact that whenever you see a crosswalk, regardless of the fast quest of obtaining that report money, they will be conscious of the fact to know that when you leave these vehicles, at times you can be a pedestrian. So we are calling on the city government, the public safety, my good friends at the public safety department, and the chief of traffic. I know you guys are listening. Even on the highways, there's a need to rebrand or repaint these street signs that are very important to the traffic, and they create that sense of barriers for drivers to know that. Take, for instance, the yellow lines on the in the middle of the Tottenham Boulevard tells a driver when not to overtake, where to drive, and be within his lane. So there's a need. All of these street markings have been updated, they are finished, and there's a need to rebrand them or repaint them. So call us on 0777 105 100 if you think there's a need for this or other traffic irregularities you care to bring to our attention. This is the program. So if you're listening, your keke, on a taxi, on a bike, the phone lines are now open. Be a part of this discussion right here. And this just came into my attention over the weekend on my way home from work on a Saturday. This is a word of advice I have to give to these motorcyclists. This thing happened somewhere around the is it the Crown or King Hotel there around Congo Town, not so far from the former Blue House. I think the president's convoy was leaving from town, headed towards where they was having a political rally in the Pinsville Belt. And I guess one of these motorcyclists tried to violate, and the SS vehicle must have hit him, and it was a serious issue there within the area. My advice to these guys is, look, that is the executive convoy. That man has the right to drive at any speed he wants. Once you hear that siren, there are three kinds of sirens you must always obey: the ambulance, the fire service, the police, and that of the executive of the special secret service or the EPS. Whenever you hear these siren sounds within the traffic, all you have to do is just pull over. Never be in rush or be in a hasty mode to challenge these people, because whenever they hit you, whatever happens to your moving object is at your own detriment or your own risk. And they are not to be blamed because they have that right to move at a speed without being interfered. So take note, because this time I noticed within this generation, you guys don't fear nothing. Never try to challenge the executive or those in higher power. Whenever you hear that siren and you see that's an appropriate car that's carrying that siren, you need to pull over. 0777 0777 105 100. 0555-105-100. We'll take a breather and come back and read out our safety quotation for the day and recap our driving safety tips, so in case we get one, and then get our word of advice on the issue of the street market. Stay tuned.
Mangibby, home, and everywhere you go. This is ABC Radio 105.1 FM.
Up with the weight, up with the weight. I will.
And so welcome back to it right here, Traffic Talk. The time is 24 minutes, pushing up through the hour 7, 6:43. We wrap it up right here on today's edition. So quickly, just recap our safety quotation for the day. And it says, if you make the mistake of looking back too much, you aren't focused enough on the road in front of you. For drivers, you have to always be focused at the destination ahead, because that is where you're headed. You cannot always keep looking back, because you've left that position already, and your main focus should be ahead. What's ahead is important, and what's behind, you only have to be mindful. Keep checking or skimming your rear view mirror just to 10 to 2 seconds like that to see what's behind you. Just to put yourself in a better position, so in case you want to switch from one lane to another, or want to just use the parking lane to put a passenger down. The more you focus ahead, the safer you put you and your passenger in a better position. The more you look backwards, the more you endanger the lives of you and your passengers and others road and users. So it's important to always remain focused. Look at life through the windshield. Look at life through the windshield, not the rear view mirror. Life is more ahead. What's behind is not really important. You just got to skim, like I said previously from the first quotation, because what ahead is important. What's ahead might be a big truck carrying this very huge consignment of cement. If you keep skimming back and keep looking backwards and not paying attention to what's ahead, then you're going to bang or run under such a great big truck. And at times, if you just keep focusing in the back and not looking ahead and approach an intersection where a crosswalk has been placed for pedestrians to cross from one point to another, well then, if you just cannot see ahead, tell me what happened next. You're going to run into somebody else. So always maintain that focus at the destination ahead, because that is what's important. Always slow down when approaching an intersection is our first safety tip from the Liberia National Police today, Traffic Department. And it says, do not turn abruptly in traffic. This one goes most especially to our Keke Muluwa guys. Those tricycle guys are in the habit. They don't really care. All they care is want to skim the road and see it's clear for them to go. Not calculating the velocity at which the other moving object is moving, they just turn. And at times you may be a faster turn and swift, right? But the driver coming on the other side is fast enough too, because you don't know at what gas he's putting in his gas pedal. So always be attentive, always watch, and make sure it's clear enough and it's appropriate time to turn before you turn. Do not turn abruptly in traffic, right? That was it. And they say always observe the crosswalk while driving, especially the pedestrian crosswalk. Why you should do so is because you are in that vehicle, you are protected. You can switch from one point to another, communicating with other motorists. But they are there waiting to cross to another destination where they are headed, and they are waiting for you. So you as a driver, once you approach an intersection, at times you might not see the markings of a pedestrian crosswalk. But in the driving lessons, they've got this thing called the blind crosswalk. It is at every intersection. One is an intersection. You as a driver must know that there is a need for pedestrians to cross and for other moving objects to get from one point to another. Always drive in proper shoes and not in slippers. Reason being, it is necessary to always be properly attired, because driving in shoes saves you better than driving with slippers. Some folks have that sweaty feet, and sometimes you're applying brakes in that very emergency situation. Your foot might slide off the brake pedal, or even if you are driving a manual transmission car, sometimes you're trying to use your slipper to engage the clutch, then your foot slides off. Even if you're driving an automatic transmission, it is not really right to drive in slippers. Always, if you use a regular, even these sandals, it's a bit necessary to that of slippers. So always be properly attired, as in wearing your sneakers or shoes or a sandal that holds your feet to get a turf lift before you drive. Do not use the opposite lane. I know right about now, with the traffic congestion starting to build around lots of areas, drivers will be using the thing called the opposite lane. They want to call the third lane, which is wrong. It's never use the third lane. Never use the opposite lane. It is prohibited within the driving laws within our country. So learn to use all appropriate driving principles and apply them to your driving and become a better driver. This has been the production of the Atlanta Broadcasting Corporation ABC Radio 105.1. To all of our drivers and riders, pedestrians, and passengers, would like to say stay safe, drive safe. The nighttime is about to take on. Make sure all of your cars' lights are working properly. On that note, I say stay safe, drive safe, be a nice driver, respect our traffic rule. Martin Fagans is my name. Do have yourself a lovely time. Goodbye. Commercial is next.
Cape Mount, Wapaloo, Mangibi, Home, and everywhere you go. This is ABC Radio 105.